Indestructible Gaming. Choose your character. Musketshot. Mr. K. Let the review begin.
Hello and welcome to Indestructible Gaming and More. I am Musketshot. Alongside me is my co-host, Mr. K. Mr. K, hello.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey.
Another week, another game.
Right. So this week's game is called Carrion.
Carry on, whichever.
Whatever, however you want to pronounce it, I guess. And this game is developed by Phobia Game Studio. And this is their first game by themselves as a developer. They did do one other game where they developed it under another company called Transhuman Design, and the game is called Butcher. And if you play Carrion and then look at this game Butcher, which we've looked at, you'll see some similarities.
Yeah, it looks pretty much the same graphics, kind of.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And the reason they funded their own independent company, Phobia Game Studio, was to, conceive Carrion and give it their full undivided attention. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully lots of luck to them, and hopefully it'll continue to be a strong independent developer. The game is published by Devolver Digital, which we've played a game already by Devolver Digital, and that was I'm drawing a blank now, but look,
Enter the Gungeon,
that's it. And that Devolver Digital publishes a lot of games for independent companies and developers and stuff like that. So I won't get into too much about them, but they do a lot of different games. So this game was just released this July, and it's rated M for mature for blood and gore and violence. It's on Steam, Switch, and Xbox One. So I'm actually surprised it came to Game Pass that quickly when it was released like that. But, good for us.
Yeah, some of the stuff they're releasing are coming out the day one on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, good for us. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a little bit about the developer and some other information on that game. Do you want to get into the storyline?
Well, it doesn't feed you the story right away. You kind of wake up in this area of this scientific place that you've never been to, never heard of. You're just there. And you play as this blob of flesh. And your main objective is to, escape. And how do you escape? You just murder everyone in the facility, break doors, complete puzzles, gain upgrades, and eventually, as you progress through the game, you'll learn more of the story through these flashbacks. And that's pretty much Carrion.
I guess you could be a creature of some sort that was developed there at this facility, and you kind of look, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I guess you kind of look like a blob with tentacles and a bunch of mouths on it, so that you can, there's multiple mouths to feed, basically.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to explain what he really is, to be exact. Now, this is a side-scrolling reverse horror game. Do you want to kind of explain what a reverse horror game means?
A reverse horror game is basically when you play as the villain instead of running away from the villain. Like, imagine playing Friday the 13th or something like that. And like the game is you play as Jason Voorhees. That would be called reverse horror. That's pretty much what reverse horror is.
And there's a lot of reverse horror games now. I mean, this is not,
I've been really happy about that because I've been wanting those kinds of games because they offer a lot more in terms of gameplay. They offer a lot more opportunities for different kinds of play styles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I think it's becoming a big genre now because it's just I see it a lot more in different types of games that are coming out.
Yeah.
And it seems like every year when you go to the gaming expos, there's you'll see a number of different ones. So it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, I'm with you. I like having that type of stuff.
It's different. Instead of
Yeah.
being the hero, it's kind of fun to be the bad guy,
Right. Yep.
causing chaos and mayhem.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a single player game. It's kind of a strange game because you do play as this blob, this creature, like I said, with the mouths and tentacles and stuff like that. But you do occasionally do flashbacks where you play as one of the scientists, and you're kind of exploring the grounds and everything that the monster's in, and then you'll pop back to being the monster again. So it's kind of an odd game where it's kind of splits, between the monster and the scientist's viewpoint, to try to figure out what went wrong, what happened there at the thing. So it's the graphics are kind of they're not I don't know if they're 16-bit or they're not they're pixelated somewhat.
Yeah, and this type of pixelation isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not unique. I'm gonna say it's more of not common. It's not rare. You can see this a while. If you look around, you'll eventually find a game or two with the same type of look to it. This isn't a rare thing that happens, but when it does happen, I always think they exceed with their abilities with this, because I think the game looks very nice, very gorgeous, very horror-esque, where it's dark and dank, and you feel like the monster.
Yeah.
Because this game rewards you for being. You can just go in there and kill everyone, but you can take your time and act like it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
So with that and the environment you go into, it kind of ties in with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to explain some of the stuff you can do? Like, you can use your tentacles to grab people, or you can rip, like you were saying, you can rip doors off. And
with your abilities, you find more of them as you progress through the story, but your main abilities consist of like a grab where you can, like you said, smash open doors, or flail humans around like a whacking flail on two men.
Yeah.
You can eat them, of course. Eating them will replenish your health.
Yeah.
You have different abilities too. Like you can hide in darkness in certain areas where you can make yourself invisible from others. There's another one where you can break through stuff and have spikes come out of you, so anything will get punctured on the way. There's one where you can do a little latch and hook onto things and open levers and or certain areas. You can go through walls and then hit humans if you wanted to, or distract them.
It's kind of like a spider. I think they call it like a spider type. It's almost like a spider web type thing that you shoot and it can grab onto things.
Each of these powers are with certain buttons, so you won't get confused or anything. You want to switch out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these powers are for certain sizes you become. Like with Carrion, it's a game where you want to grow. You want to become big, or you want to become small, depending on the certain situation.
Yeah.
You may have this narrow place you can't get to because you're too big, but if you're small enough, you can go on through. So like the latch one you were talking about only goes for the small ones, while the spike ones, I think, is only for the bigger one.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Carrion, it's you grow by, obviously by eating people and doing different things. And then there's times where you can basically, there's areas of water where you can leave like a biomass. So you kind of split yourself and you leave like a pile of your body in this water.
This
and you
mound
can go
of flesh.
You can basically go back to it at some point, grab it, and then double your size again. But you can, and that's where this game is kind of hard sometimes like that. You have to sort of figure out, okay, I can't do this large, so I have to split myself and then sort of make myself small again.
It makes you think out of the box.
Yeah, you kind of have to play around with it a little bit. try something and be, all right, I can't do this big size. I got to do a small size.
That's what I
vice
kind of
versa.
like about this game, though, because if you think about it with horror movies, that's what they got to deal with, too.
Right.
You think the alien from Alien just knows where to go? Eventually, he's going to have to go through something he doesn't want to go through.
Right. And the way the monster moves is pretty cool because the monster moves across and up things. Like you can go up, down.
Yeah, movement is very
things.
slick.
Movement is very easy and
it's satisfying in time.
Very easy and quick. There's really nothing. It's, I guess, I don't know if it's not so much really, I don't know. Would you consider it kind of a platformer since you're climbing and doing stuff over things? Or I guess maybe.
No, I wouldn't call it a platformer.
Really. But it's very easy to move and it's very smooth as far as movement goes, which is really cool about the game.
Mm.
And then the tentacles, you can, you could be up above something, and if you want to get a person, you can stretch out the tentacles, hopefully far enough to grab the person and bring them towards you. If you can't, then you can kind of quickly go in and grab them, and
and you can just slither back up and nobody would notice.
Right.
Like we said, it's a horror. It's basically a horror movie. It's really cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can do within the game. There's different enemies too that you have to
you got
deal with. There's like the scientists.
The scientists that do nothing but hide or run away.
Or whimper as they
and then eventually you'd find some that would probably carry a gun, maybe.
Yeah, you
something to hurt you with
people.
But then you got the actual guys who have real guns that could deal major damage to you.
Yeah,
you got some other guys that have flamethrowers, and the list basically goes on. There's a good amount. They try to switch it up each level, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's different stuff. There's security guys that have pistols or like machine guns. You have pyro guys that have flamethrowers and a shield, an electric shield. So those are really difficult because not only do you have to deal with the electric shield that zaps you, but the flamethrower, if it hits you, your whole body catches on fire, and you have to kind of find water as quickly.
A pool of water.
You have to find water as quickly as possible. There's a drone on one of the levels that kind of flies around. You have to kind of deal with the drone, and that one is a little difficult at times because you got to try to catch it and then beat it up at the same time. And then there's some other stuff like a turret and mech robotic stuff and other bombs and stuff like that you got to deal with in different levels. So a lot of different things to deal with. It is satisfying though when you get to an area where you got even if you do have somebody with a weapon and you can sneak up behind them and grab them and, either eat them or grab them and smash them about. Yeah. You smash them against a wall and top half of their body flies off and the other half is still in your tentacles. It's kind of funny and satisfying. There are a lot of kind of save areas within the game too, where you can go into a hole and pretty much spread your biomass, as they say, and that creates another entity of your species, and where you can save and instantly regen your health if you go to visit one. Yeah, which comes in handy because there's some levels, like I said, with the pyro guys, flamethrower guys, they hit you. Sometimes it's like you'll be on fire, you'll get to water. And maybe you only have one dot left of health. So you run over to one of those biomass things and regenerate your health, and then you can try it again. So you don't have to go too far back. Sometimes they have a lot of these. So I think it's pretty helpful to have within the game.
And Carrion also has secrets too that you can find. So that's worth going around and checking each and every place out. But the only problem that comes with that is a little bit of backtracking. But with Carrion, they also made it so that when you get these new abilities, you can unlock different ways to enter the old areas. So they at least did that instead of just saying, hey, you're going to have to go back to where you came from all the way over there.
Yeah.
But thank God they put different barriers up that you could break and all that stuff. later on when you become more powerful.
Yeah.
Another thing about this game that they did really well was the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a very good job. It sounded very, I want to say 80s
Mm-hmm.
with their sound that track. They try to make it very...
Like an 80s horror movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of works with some of the situations you go into, and it really depends on what you're doing. And I think that changes the music.
Yeah.
Because if you go and grab someone really fast and from the ceiling, and if someone turns around and just is like, what happened? I think, I'm pretty sure the music actually goes up in tempo a little bit to indicate what's going on.
Yeah. I like the music too. I thought it was pretty good to, as far as giving it, pretty good atmosphere in the game. What else? Anything else that you liked about the game? It's a really a fun game to play. Just to grab people and throw them around and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun.
I think this game would be a very good stress reliever.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of levels, and the world is pretty open ended. I think.
Yeah. It's pretty open. It usually puts you on a linear path, but as soon as you get different abilities, you can go back and adventure off a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like with Carrion, the difference from them and other ones is because Carrion, you kind of feel like you're powerful. Like you're supposed to be going around killing these things, while other ones kind of doesn't seem like that. I can't really name off some of them right now, but I know something can feel like that. When I play these games and I want to be the bad guy, I kind of want to feel unstoppable in a way. I want to feel some sort of power, and Carrion achieves that very easily. Kind of like how I almost said Sharknado. I meant to say almost like Maneater felt. Because sometimes with that game, you did feel like you were a powerful shark. Yeah. But I mean, with that game, that you could easily change that, because sometimes the humans in those games that game can be really hard. Yeah.
Well, this one has you're a monster and you're pretty powerful, but you also have to be, you have to solve puzzles too to try to, open up certain things and do certain things. So
which also kind of makes it more terrifying to think that thing would exist in a research facility.
Yeah, and be smart enough to
open doors and go through drains.
Yeah, exactly. Slip through small holes and stuff like that, and then create a larger biomass on the other side.
Yeah, that'd be terrifying. I would enjoy to see a movie of this. Like, I think it'd be a little too much close to The Thing, because the way The Thing looked in that movie.
Okay, yeah. I did see somebody mention that in a review. Yeah,
I would definitely love to see a Carrion movie. I would so see that, because that'd be very interesting. I'm curious to see how they would make a blob of flesh even more terrifying than it was in the game.
Yeah, right. The one of the things that somebody mentioned and I didn't really think about it until they mentioned it in a review, was that there was a lack of a mini map, and they thought that would have been helpful in the game.
Yeah, I will admit I did get a little lost with because there's no mini map. But once I kind of found somewhere I haven't been yet or got a power, I usually go back and check.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be one of those games where if you haven't played it for a while and just came back to it, like you haven't played it for like a couple months, and you just return, I feel like you'd be kind of confused of where you are. Not entirely, but enough to say, okay, where did I come from?
Yeah. Yeah, and at the beginning when I first started playing it, it took a little bit to kind of get used to, how you use your tentacles in grabbing things and grabbing people. And one of the things I thought it took me a little bit of time to get used to. And there is an explanation at the beginning of the game, like how to use your powers and stuff. But one of them was just eating people was sometimes like hit or miss at the beginning for me.
Yeah.
And, once I got used to it, it became easier. But at the beginning, I was like, what? How am I not eating this person? Or why am I not doing it right? So.
Yeah, you get used to the controls, though. I feel like the tutorial level started pretty good. It was a good tutorial level. They didn't throw you in with anything overpowered.
Right.
They
Yeah.
gave you easy prey.
Yeah.
So you can just get used to the controls, and then once you get to the more difficult people, you'd be able to figure out what to do and all that.
Yeah. You definitely really need to. I think they do a good job of that. Where for a while there in the game, you deal with really just scientists and you deal with some enemies with guns, but nothing really too serious.
Nothing that would take you out really fast.
It isn't until you get more deeper into the game where you start dealing with the guys with the flamethrowers and the drones and guys with machine guns that just rip you apart.
Oh yeah.
And it's, by that time, once you've gotten to that point, you already know pretty well how to play as the monster and how to use your abilities to get to them. And you got to play a little stealth too in this game. I mean, with the monster, you got to kind of wait till they turn their backs or wait till they move to a certain other area. Sometimes with the flamethrower guys, you got to wait for them you got to kind of play chicken with them, get them to shoot the flamethrower, get out of the way. Yeah. And then while they're reloading it or while it's reloading, that's when you want to grab them and stuff. That type of stuff. You got to, it's
that stuff can be funny too, because sometimes it would actually play like in a horror movie. Like one of the times I was playing, I was dealing with those flamethrower guys, and below them was like this thing of water. And I remember, because you have this ability where you can call out, and when your monster makes the sound, your save points will also make a sound, so you know where they are at all times, which helps.
Mm-hmm.
But it also can lure humans to where you are.
Yeah.
So you can use this to your advantage pretty easily. And what I did was, because they had this little tiny hole in the little pond, the little piece of water I was in, they didn't see me through the hole. So before they left, as they turned around, I came out of the water so fast, and I grabbed them and I pulled them right in and ate them. Nobody else noticed, and I just repeated the process one by one. So it was like Jason Voorhees taking them out.
Yeah.
Coming from the water, just grabbing everyone. No one else is noticing.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty funny just watching the people, and grabbing them and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely one of those games you got to try, I think, if you like horror type games and stuff like that. Anything else that you want to mention on this game? Yeah,
I wanna say one more thing. How did you like the main menu? I really liked the main menu.
The main menu with the creatures' tentacles.
Yeah, where you see a person's perspective of it.
Yeah,
I thought
it was pretty cool. I liked it. I think it was pretty fun. Yeah.
But
there's lots of different things, and then that was one of the things too I liked about it too, was where you could, there's obviously a lot of save areas in the game, but you could also, pause the game and then do like a save point type thing, and if you wanted to leave the game and stuff and then come back to it. So I like that. I think that was pretty helpful in this game. So I know I played it for a certain amount of time each night and just kind of stopped, and it was like came back, and it was just, it's easy to find some place to stop and start again the next day.
Yeah, I thought Carrion was a very cool game. Again, really hope for a movie. That'd be pretty neat. Maybe Carrion 2. I would very much be pleased by that. I think they did a very good job on this. A very phenomenal job with doing this kind of stuff, because I can assume that it'd be hard to make a game where you become the bad guy, because there has to be a question where it's like, how can you be powerful without being too powerful?
Mm-hmm.
That's always a hard thing to think about. And the other thing is with these kinds of games, you gotta eventually someone's just gonna get bored of killing. You have to spice it up. You have to change people around. You have to change up the gameplay in order to make it and keep it interesting. And I think they did a phenomenal job here. I thought the music was wonderful, and I love the style of how the game looked. I love that kind of style because I think the games look very pretty and very gritty.
Mm-hmm.
I like games when they look like that. It looks very interesting to my eyes, and I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Same games go for like that, like Blasphemous or some other games.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do Blasphemous one day. It's a very cool game. Maybe some other day. But all in all, I think other than the issue with the mini map or some other minor things to me, I'm gonna have to give Carrion a 9 out of 10.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I really like this game. I'm very pleased with how you move in the game and the things you can do in this game. It is challenging against certain enemies, but it is a fun way of trying to, defeat the enemies with your, using these tentacles and grabbing them and slamming them and doing different things. So some of them you'll spend quite a bit of time trying to kill them, but it's when you finally get to do it, it's kind of satisfying. So I like the gameplay, I like the music, graphics were fun. So for me, I would give it again, the lack of the mini map absolutely is a big thing too for me, because I think you do get lost sometimes in the game. So it is a little tough, but it's fun to just search around and go. It's easy to go back and forth to different areas occasionally. So I like the game. So I'd give it I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah. So what do you want to? Oh, I should say, what do we have scheduled for next week? Now, what do we have scheduled for next week?
Next week, we have a game that we've talked to this person on Twitter, and they made a game called Super Psy Penguin, like Psychic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bullet hell game, which we've talked about before, and where you play as a cybernetic psychic penguin.
Mm.
And you fight off aliens and demons, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, cool. So that is on Steam, correct?
Yep, that is on Steam.
Okay. So we'll be playing that on Steam this upcoming week, and we'll give a review on that next week. Cool.
Sweet.
All right. Anything else you got there, Mr. K?
Nope, that's all for me. I'm pretty sure that's it for this week.
Okay, yeah. That's all I got, too. All right. Thanks, everyone.
See you later, guys. Stay indestructible.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.
Game over.
Hey, it's Mr. K here. Hope you enjoy the show. You can listen to us more on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. And you can also find us at Facebook and Twitter. All right, guys, stay indestructible. Peace.